Hey everyone, so today I'm going to present to you all my art piece for the Art Week's presentation. By the way, my name is Godofredo, and without further ado, let's get started. So our agenda for today is mainly consists of 5 items. The first one is introduction, then we have the overview, then we have information about the author, his art style, and finally, thoughts and comments about the painting. My thoughts and comments. So, for the introduction, the painting or the art that I picked is Last Supper by Volontà de Bologna. Before actually going deeper into the contents of the art piece or the painting, I would like to go over the dimensions and the facts about the painting. And this is the painting. You could take 5 seconds if you want, or you could pause it. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds, starting right now. Okay, so dimensions and facts about the painting. The type of painting is it's a European painting. It has a genre of religious art. Its medium was oil on canvas. Its height is 139 centimeters or 54.7 inches. Its width is 230 centimeters or 90.5 inches. The year it started was 1625, and the year it was finished is the year 1626. So now let's go to the overview of the painting, or like a brief interruption. So what I think is the possible references for this painting is, of course, Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper, and also the some New Testament Bible books. Mainly, I think it's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, because that's the part where the life of Jesus is actually portrayed. So this painting visualizes the moment where Jesus Christ, who according to the Bible is the Messiah, in the middle told the news to his disciples that he was going to be betrayed and basically killed. Now, the one who betrayed him is Judas, which is the one wearing the reddish robe and is hiding a small pouch of coins on his back. You can see him at the left side. Anyway, this painting depicts different emotions in each person. Jesus shows a calm yet sorrowful look on his face, indicating his sadness towards knowing that he will be experiencing torment upon being betrayed. Most of the disciples, on the other hand, also have a sorrowful, despairing look, which shows the shock and acceptance that they have following the heartbreaking news. Now, what is quite different from the expressions the disciples express is what John looked like. John is the one wearing a dark brownish robe who is sleeping in front of Jesus. Now, John shows a moment of comfort rather than sorrow for certain reasons. It may show Jesus' divine peace that he could spread across everyone who decided to trust in him despite the terrible situation. Another thing is the closeness of the disciples towards Jesus may also indicate the sudden announcement that Jesus made, and also shows the eagerness that the disciples have upon the announcement. Now that the brief interruption is done, we're actually ready to go and learn more about the artist. So, here is the question. Who is the painter? To start with, the artist or the one who painted my picked art piece was Volontà de Bologna. He was born on the year 1591 in Colomiers, France, where he was also baptized on January 3, 1591 in the parish of Saint Denis. During his early life, he was surrounded by a significant number of artists and came from a lineage of artists that inspired him to start his career. According to most sources, his childhood life were uncertain, so they conclude that Valentin started making art in his father's studio. Also, during his childhood, his initial training was to observe classical art forms championed by Simone Vouet, which established the foundation for mastering perspective and anatomical accuracy. As he grew older, however, he began to move to Rome, which is no later than 1614, where he would spend most of his life as an artist. Unfortunately, he died officially due to a fever from plunging his face to a fountain in hopes of cooling himself down from the heat he got from drinking alcohol. The sudden changes in the temperature may have caused chills in his body or caused hypotension, which killed him due to his vulnerable drunken state. Now let's go to the art styles and techniques that Volontà de Bologna used. The question that we might have to answer is, what did the painter use? During the early 17th century, the dominant and most revolutionary style in Rome was established by the Italian master Michelangelo Merisi da Caravaggio. Looking closely at Valentin's paintings, it quite contains the essence that Caravaggio established, Caravaggism. Caravaggism is a style of painting inspired by Caravaggio's techniques, particularly his use of tenebrism and realistic depictions of human figures in dramatic light. Tenebrism, also known as chiaroscuro, is a special visual technique characterized by the use of stark contrast between the light and dark, often to create dramatic effects and enhance the emotional intensity of a scene, and to give an illusion of volume in modeling three-dimensional objects and figures. In Tenebris paintings, figures are typically illuminated against a dark background, which adds a sense of mystery and intensity to the work. Caravagism and Tenebrism are connected because Tenebrism is a major component in the style of Caravagism. If we look at the Last Supper, we can see the intense or stark contrast between light and dark. The light focuses on Jesus, which is most likely what the painter or artist is trying to emphasize, and it slowly becomes darker as the size becomes farther. Valentin also uses only one light in this painting, which shows his fond of Caravaggio's technique in painting. Other art styles or techniques that Valentin might have used is Baroque, naturalism, and realism. Baroque is an art style characterized by grandeur, drama, movement, and emotional intensity in various forms of art, including painting, sculpture, and architecture. Naturalism is an artistic approach that sought to depict realistic objects in a natural setting, and realism is an artistic approach that seeks to represent reality as accurately and authentically as possible. Although naturalism and realism seems the same or sounds the same, naturalism is when artists try to make an art that is closely or as detailed as possible and as accurate as possible to the daily setting of the people basically, while realism is not focused on anything that that people do, but it's actually what they actually make the art as accurate and as detailed as possible. So that's basically what's the difference. So now we've come to the last section of our agenda, which is the thoughts and comments. So we're actually going to answer the question, or I am going to answer the question, what do I think about the piece? Let's get started. So, I think the piece is balanced. The complementary colors, orange and blue, creates a lively or high contrast combination, while the dark background makes it gloomy, which represents the weight of the situation. It also possesses a good or balanced saturation. It does not contain any color that makes the painting look bad or um, it hurts to look at, basically. It also contains a good lighting. It focuses mainly on what the artist is trying to emphasize, which is Jesus. The emotions are satisfyingly emphasized, the terror and sadness that the disciples are feeling, and also Jesus and John's stressful and peaceful looks. Overall, it is satisfyingly beautiful or pleasant to look at. This is most likely because I am fond of this kind of art, being not too much saturated, darkish on certain areas, and just realistic overall. Thank you. Well, we've come to an end. I mean, everything comes to an end. But I guess the fun part is the journey and friends we made along the way, said by William Blust Sandwich. Anyway, if you want to look at my works cited, here it is. Then the continued part is here. So that's it. Once again, thank you.